Undercover boss found waitress folding aprons at 4 a.m. Then noticed something written inside one. The clock struck 4, each tick echoing like a hammer in the hollow silence. The parking lot lay deserted, its surface cracked and glistening faintly under a flickering street lamp fighting against the dark. A battered Honda sat alone, its paint peeling, tires caked in mud, a machine as worn as the man inside. He pulled the brim of his cap lower, drew in one deep, steadying breath, then stepped out. His hand tightened around the rusted handle of a janitor's cart, metal squealing as it rolled forward. The night air cut sharp and cold, carrying the hiss of wind through the cracks of the diner's back door. Hinges groaned as he pushed it open, a sound that seemed to split the silence in two. And there, slipping through the gloom, came a voice, soft, fragile, almost broken, humming a tune that made him freeze where he stood. At 16, Jackson stood at the back of a kitchen no one cared to notice. His hands were raw from hot water, skin cracked by detergent, nails stained with grease that never quite washed away. He remembered the smell most of all, the heavy film of burnt oil clinging to every surface, seeping into his clothes, into his hair, into his very breath. The clatter of dishes was his constant companion, porcelain shattering, pans dropped, orders shouted above his head. It was noise without mercy, and he lived inside it. Family told him he was wasting his youth. Is this it? A lifetime of dirty plates? They laughed, and the words burned hotter than the stoves he scrubbed, but Jackson stayed. Each broken dish taught him endurance. Each long night left him hungrier, not for food, but for something better. He dreamed of a restaurant with his name above the door, not because of pride, but because he wanted to prove survival could become triumph. His first attempt collapsed within a year. He lost his savings, his pride, nearly everything but the calluses on his hands. He ate instant noodles 6 months straight, stretching dollars until they snapped. Yet he refused to quit. Failure taught him sharper lessons than success ever could. He rose again, slower but stronger. Brick by brick, shift by shift. He worked, saved, tried, failed, and tried again. 15 years later, Harrington restaurants spanned 23 locations across 3 states. People spoke of him as a builder, a man who clawed his way from nothing. Yet even with all that, Jackson never forgot the heat of dishwater or the sting of ridicule. The boy who scrubbed pots still lived inside the man, whispering reminders of what labor really cost. That boy was the reason he now pushed a janitor's cart instead of a boardroom chair. He needed to see for himself if the heart of his empire still beat in the hands of people like him, people no one else bothered to see. Murphy's Diner was bleeding. Numbers did not lie. Customer complaints had surged 40% in a single year. Staff turnover churned like a revolving door, and profit sheets bled red ink across every column. His chief financial officer urged him to shut the doors, cut the losses, and walk away. To anyone else, it was only another failing branch, a casualty of expansion. To Jackson, it was a warning bell. He could not shake the thought that something deeper rotted beneath the surface. Equipment could be replaced, menus revised, buildings renovated. But when people left in waves, when complaints grew louder despite new investments, the sickness often began with leadership. A poisoned culture was silent but fatal. He had built his empire from nothing. He knew when numbers told only half a story. So he refused the boardroom solution. Instead, he walked into a used car lot and paid cash for a beat-up Honda, its odometer already limping past 200,000. He stripped away the symbols of wealth that clung to him. No tailored suits, no polished shoes, no name anyone would recognize. He became once again a man invisible in the corners of a workplace.